It was August 20th, 1966. On a quiet hillside near Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, a boy was flying his kite when he stumbled upon something strange. Two men lying motionless in the tall grass of the hillside. At first glance, they looked almost asleep. Both were dressed neatly in suits, covered by raincoats. But what froze the boy in his tracks were the masks. Crude, homemade slabs of lead, cut to fit over the eyes like bizzare sunglasses. Masks that hid any expression, masks that made them look less human.
I know you belong to somebody new. But tonight you belong to me.
The police were informed about the bodies, but due to the approaching dawn, low visibility, and the rugged terrain, the search was postponed until the following day. Police and firefighters reached the area the following day and found two bodies covered in shallow grass, each wearing formal suits, raincoats, and most bizarrely, eye masks made of lead. There were no signs of struggle or foul play, and the bodies had no visible injuries. At the crime scene, investigators found an empty water bottle, a set of wet towels, and a notebook. Upon closer inspection, the notebook contained an eerie set of instructions in Portuguese, which, when translated, read 16:30, be at the specified location. 18:30, ingest capsules. After effect, protect metals. Await signal, mask. The two men were later identified as Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana, both local electronic technicians. Known to be skilled at their profession, they were also considered eccentric, with bizarre spiritual beliefs. On August 17, 3 days before the bodies were found, the two left their homes for the nearby town of Niterói, allegedly carrying large sums of money to purchase hardware parts. While there, they bought the raincoats later found on their bodies and stopped at a bar where they purchased the bottle of water that was later discovered at the crime scene as well. The bartender later confirmed their visit, recalling that Miguel appeared restless, constantly checking his watch and glancing over his shoulder. This was the last confirmed sighting of the men alive before the boy discovered their bodies atop the hill. The money they were carrying was never found. An autopsy was conducted weeks later with the reason cited as overwhelming work at the coroner's office. Due to the decomposed state of the bodies, the cause of death could not be identified. As noted earlier, no apparent injuries or signs of struggle were found. The cause of death remains a mystery to this day. With that information, let's take a look at the theories. Given the eccentric nature of the technicians, it was believed they were fascinated by the otherworldly. Notably, De Cruz and Miguel, along with one of their friends, built a machine in an attempt to contact extraterrestrials. The machine exploded during the process. Witnesses, including Miguel's wife, confirmed this explosion. The friend later confessed that the three formed a spiritualistic group, using science and technology to explore dimensions far beyond the ordinary. This could explain the lead masks, which they might have believed would shield their eyes from the bright lights of a UFO. They may have carried capsules to counter radiation, or so they thought. In this pursuit, they might have encountered something or someone that led to their untimely demise. UFO sightings were also reported in the days leading up to this event, though I personally consider these a hoax. The men could have been lured by criminals seeking to extort money by exploiting their bizarre beliefs. Notably, another body was found 4 years earlier near the hillside, also wearing a lead mask. This could indicate a modus operandi of a group of burglars who targeted Miguel and Viana. This theory also explains the large sum of cash that was missing and the bizarre instructions, which might have been a distraction tactic to deceive the electricians. Given the victim's affinity for science and the unknown, they might have intentionally overdosed on psychedelics, believing it would open new dimensions and enable communication with interdimensional beings. This shifts the case from homicide to intentional suicide. Given the fact no toxicology report was made, this could be a very plausible case. The men may have been experimenting with their device as they had done before on the hilltop when lightning struck them. Considering the altitude and the metal objects they carried, this is a plausible theory. Lightning strikes sometimes leave no external injuries, which could explain the absence of struggle or visible wounds on the bodies when they were found. However, this theory does not fully explain why the men were there in the first place. To conclude, with all the information that we have in mind, this case still remains far from solved. What if the autopsy had been conducted earlier, before the bodies decomposed? Could a prompt response from the police have mitigated the delay? To be honest, we can explore all possibilities, but certainty eludes us. Let's wait and watch as curious onlookers to see if time unravels this mystery. Nonetheless, our hearts go out to the men victimized atop that grassy hillside on that one tragic day.